Hello and welcome everyone to our webinar today, which is on preparing for NetSuite New Release 2024.2. Now, today's webinar is mainly focused on customers who are unfamiliar with the release process, or maybe just want a reminder on how to effectively navigate through NetSuite's new release process. I'm your host, Ross Johnston. Most of you will know me by now, but for those of you that don't, I'm an account manager here at OneCloudX. Before we get started on the session itself, just a quick agenda. So first of all, we'll be talking about what the new release process is, so what we actually mean when we refer to NetSuite's new release and how it affects you and your business. We'll then go into a deep dive onto where to find information about the new release process. There's various different avenues that you can go down to find information out about the new release in terms of what features and functionality are available. We'll then go through the release preview account, so some information on how to access your release preview, as well as some guidance on what you should be testing within your release preview account. Now, we'll be doing a Q&A towards the end of the session, so if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A and we'll pick them up at the end of the webinar. So just a recap for some of you, or this might be new to a lot of you on the call. So NetSuite's new release process. So when we refer to NetSuite's new release, what we mean is NetSuite has two major releases every year. Now, typically these fall in August, September, October. So this is the second release of 2024, as well as the first release coming out around February, March, April time. Now, with NetSuite's new releases, all customers are upgraded onto the latest version of the system, so you don't have to worry about version lock or being stuck on an old version of NetSuite. Everyone is upgraded to the new version. Now, as of this release, so the 2024.2, everyone will be getting upgraded between now and October. Now, these go through different phases. So there's three phases. The first phase is in August, where around 20% of NetSuite customers are upgraded. The second phase is in September, where 40% of customers are upgraded. And then the final phase is in October, where the remaining 40% of NetSuite customers are upgraded to the new version. Now, in terms of planning for your upgrade, you will receive your exact date around 3 weeks before your upgrade. Now, with that, in terms of what to expect during the upgrade, there's typically a period of 3 to 4 hours where this is scheduled, which falls outside of your typical business hours. But with that in mind, you can reschedule your upgrade using the customer scheduled maintenance page. Now, in terms of the new release itself, the new release includes hundreds of bug fixes, as well as new features and enhancements to existing NetSuite functionality. Now, the good thing is most of these new features and enhancements are free and do get rolled out to all existing NetSuite customers. So in terms of finding information out about the new release, so in this case specifically about 2024.2, there's various different sources of information available at your fingertips. Now, this goes from NetSuite's sneak peeks and blogs to the actual release notes themselves, as well as stuff like new feature videos on Suite Answers. Now, beyond that, of course, we are here to help. So if you do have any questions or queries about new functionality that's coming out as part of 2024.2, then please feel free to reach out to myself directly. Now, beyond that, we will be hosting a new feature webinar this coming Thursday, so the same time on Thursday, and that will go through some of the main new features to look out for as part of 2024.2. So in terms of accessing the new release information, the best way to do this is through the new release portlet, which can be added to your home dashboard within NetSuite. Now, this is very easy to add, and once you add it to your home dashboard, it looks something like this. Now, if you don't already have this on your home dashboard, you can go to Personalize and then select New Release here, and that will simply add this to your dashboard, so you've got quick and easy access to different links from the new release. Now, with this in mind, you'll see that you will have your upgrade date here, so you can see at a glance when that will be. And in addition to this, any administrators of the system will also receive an email of when that upgrade date will be. Scrolling down, you'll see that the new release portal has some key features there, so some of the sneak peeks that have been picked up there, but there's also links to different areas. So if you want to read any of the blogs, then you can click the link there, which takes you to NetSuite's blogs about the new features, as well as the release notes themselves. So if you want to go through all 61 pages of the 2024.2 release notes, then they are available. But once again, as your NetSuite partner, we do this. We scour through all the release notes, all the blogs, all the videos, and make sure that we are summarising the information that's actually applicable to the Australian market and the features that you can look out for as part of the new release. Now, beyond the new release portal, just to bring your attention to another couple of areas which include information about the new release. If you go into the NetSuite help, so just clicking on help up the top there, and then on the what's new tab at the top of the table of contents, you'll see once again you can get links to sneak peeks, release notes, and so on from here. But in addition to this, you can also access the Help Centre weekly updates. So if we click on August 17th here, we'll be able to see any changes to the release notes which are happening on a continuous basis. So something to note is with the release notes, they are subject to change, but using these Help Centre weekly updates, it means we can exactly see what has been added or removed to those release notes prior to the release. Now, in addition to that, another area where you can find some in-depth videos on NetSuite's new features is through Suite Answers itself. Now, most of you will be familiar with Suite Answers by now. Suite Answers is a repository of video content, support, answers. So with Suite Answers, you can basically search any questions, any error messages that you're getting in NetSuite. But in terms of accessing information on the new release, if we search for 2024.2, you'll see here that it links to the release notes, but we can also see new feature previews of different functionality, which is coming out with 2024.2. So you see here across Ship Central, SCM Mobile, down to quality management, WMS enhancements, manufacturing mobile, and so on. There's various different video content that's available on Suite Answers to allow you to review those new features that are coming with 2024.2. Now, just jumping back to our slides. Now, once again, although that information is all available to you, we do consolidate all of that info and make sure that during that webinar on Thursday, we're putting across those key points for what's coming with the new release. So moving on to the release preview. Now, the release preview is a temporary test account running the new version of NetSuite with all of your data and customizations carried across. Now, the release preview allows you to carry out tests and validate that your existing business workflows function as expected in the new release. And beyond this as well, it provides you with the opportunity to test out and try out the new features that are coming with the new release. To access your release preview, if you go to Setup, Company and Release Preview, you'll be able to click to request a release preview from there. Now, that typically takes 3 to 5 business days, at which point you will receive an email saying that your release preview account is now available to access. Now, with the release preview, as well as the information that's available on the new release itself, there's various different sources for information on how to best take advantage of your release preview. So there's a release preview guide available, as well as a test plan template. In terms of testing within the release preview, we recommend testing any of your business critical process flows with a particular focus on any customizations that you have within your NetSuite account. Now, although NetSuite does test all of the new features thoroughly, easy for me to say, every account in NetSuite is unique. So there is a unique combination of configurations and customizations. So we recommend that you take particular focus on any customized processes, records, fields, workflows, scripts, or any third-party bundles that you have within NetSuite. Now, once again, the release preview guide as well as the test plan are easy to access from the new release portal. You'll see here there's a link to the release preview guide, which gives you step-by-step in terms of how to access the release preview, as well as some recommendations on how to carry out and prepare your testing once you have access to that release preview. You'll see here there's also a link to a test plan. So there's a template there available to allow you to start to map out exactly what your processes look like and all of the different processes that you need to test as part of this new release process. Now, once you've used that template and created your own test plan, of course, you can then repurpose that for the next release process and continue to test as and when NetSuite gets upgraded in the future. So that's mainly it for today. Once again, this webinar is focused on serving as a reminder for those of you who are familiar with the new release process, as well as giving a bit of guidance for those of you who are unfamiliar with NetSuite's new releases. But as mentioned, we will have some time for Q&A in a moment. But apart from that, thank you everyone for attending, and just a final reminder that we will be hosting our new feature webinar on Thursday, in which we'll go through in a bit more depth all of the new features that you can expect as part of the 2020 4.2 new release. So I'll just jump back in and see if there are any questions for just now. You'll see in the Q&A chat, we've also added the link to register. You should also have received some email communications about that webinar. And once again, all registrants today will receive a replay link of today's session. So if you want to pass that on to anyone in your team, then please feel free to do so. Beyond that, if you do have any questions about recommendations for testing or where to find specific information, then please get in touch with myself directly. Happy to set up a call. Maybe if this is the first time you've gone through the release process and need a bit of extra guidance, then we are here to help. Once again, that's it for today. I'm not seeing any questions coming in just now. So thanks a lot, everyone, for attending today's webinar, and look forward to seeing you all on Thursday as well, where we'll go into a bit more detail on the new features that will be available with 2024 Release 2.